The Vancouver Canucks are back at 500. This team has won their 7th game in a row, and they now have 32 total points on 32 games played in the season. They're 9-1-0 in their last 10, and Bruce Boudreau saying on Cameo that, hey, 6-0, that's pretty good, but we're aiming for higher, 10-0. We have another step accomplished. The Vancouver Canucks have just defeated the Anaheim Ducks 2-1 in overtime in a game where, if you take a look at the Money puck, deserved to win-o-meter, it's actually 65% Vancouver, 35% Anaheim. What the deserved to win-o-meter is pretty much a summary or an analysis of a hockey game, and it projects how good a team has played against another team based off of expected chances and all that stuff, high-quality danger shots and whatnot. And it pretty much says, okay, the Vancouver Canucks, based off of how they played in this game, if you simulated this game 1,000 times with the results and the advanced analytics that we had gotten from the game, the Canucks probably should have won 69% of the time. But even though that was the case, the Vancouver Canucks very much outshot the Anaheim Ducks in this one. They outchanced the Anaheim Ducks in this one in some metrics. I was scared. Like, oh my goodness, I was fearing for my life throughout the entire game, biting my fingernails and quivering my toes, because this game was one of those games where, even though the Vancouver Canucks are getting chance after chance after chance, it's John Gibson, one thing, who is making all the saves, and another thing, it's the Anaheim Ducks coming back the other way and getting some really dangerous chances that they just don't hit the net on. Anaheim had so many grade A shots that were either blocked by the Vancouver Canucks, they had so many blocks in this game, or they just shot it high and wide. It doesn't go on net. It doesn't register as a shot on goal. This one was a dangerous, dangerous game for anybody who was in Vancouver to try to sit back and actually get comfortable watching, because you knew, based off of how Anaheim has been playing, this game is one John Gibson spectacular save away from leading to a really good odd man rush that eventually results in a 2-1 game-winning goal with a few minutes left in the third period. That was the feeling throughout this entire game. Although, before we get into that, let's start off with what we had as news before the game began. The other day, Trevor Zegras for Anaheim gets placed into protocol, so he is not going to be suiting up against the Vancouver Canucks. He was one of the more talented players last time these two teams went head-to-head. We also had on the Canucks side Brock Besser, who was sitting out because he had entered protocols himself, so there are two very potent scorers out of both of these teams' lineups. You had John Gibson going out there against Thatcher Demko in the pseudo-quasi battle for the USA net. Had there actually been a USA net to contend for, this was the Demko-Gibson battle. One of these guys probably would have been the starter, if not Connor Hellebuck. But this game right away, noticing immediately from puck drop, was not really, dare I say, the loudest game. It was a pretty slow first period, to be honest, and you could really feel that both of these teams had been out for 2 weeks, just in terms of how they were moving and the types of passes they were making and the decisions they were going out there and making. Not just the Canucks, but both teams. You could definitely feel that these teams had had a lot of time off. The Canucks had themselves a lot of early shot blocks, so there you go. There's that John Tortorella spirit coming out to play here. And the penalty luck actually goes for the Anaheim Ducks here, as the Canucks get 2 penalties early on, Connor Garland and JT Miller. The Garland one, he's holding the guys, he's trying to chase the puck in the offensive zone. It's not really the best penalty to take. The Miller one is absolutely terrible. He shoots the puck over the glass after making a very nice shot block on what probably would have been a pretty good Anaheim scoring chance. But the penalty kill actually had itself some pretty good looks, because Elias Pettersson was out there in a PK role, doing some pretty good things. He was stealing pucks, he was blocking shots himself, but after the penalties conclude, it's actually Hampus Lindholm who takes the puck at his own goal line, sends a long stretch pass to a Sam Carrick who is streaking down the left wing. Tucker Poolman pinches at the red line, which puts him out of position, leaving Brad Hunt as the one-man back, and Sam Carrick just goes right around Brad Hunt. He cuts towards the goal. Demko was thinking he's going to continue going across the net, but no, Clarke shoots it short side, he chips it over, and it's 1-0 Anaheim. This goal kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I think it caught everybody off guard when Sam Clarke goes out there and scores the 1-0 goal with a few minutes left in the first period. The Canucks, though, at the end of this period had itself some really good pace. Bo Horvat had a really good look, receiving a pass on the right side, but he just kind of didn't shoot it properly. It wasn't really a good look, but it was a great opportunity. A Hughes giveaway ended the first period with a great Anaheim chance, but it is ultimately 1-0 at the end of this period. The second period was a lot more different than this first one because this period went by so quickly. Lots in back and forth play, but it's Bo Horvat again, who has an open net to shoot at. Horvat was given a pass from Jason Dickinson, point blank. Gibson is out of position. I think Horvat thought that Dickinson was going to shoot it there, which is why he didn't really shoot it himself. He just kind of tapped it, and it went forward. Gibson is able to easily lunge over and make that stop. Just a terrible look for Bo Horvat in back-to-back chances where the guy goes out there and doesn't really get the shot that he wants. Goodness gracious, man, this was really unfortunate to watch. The Canucks get themselves a power play later on, but eventually it's a Sam Clarke play, driving wide, shorthanded, who draws a Quinn Hughes penalty. We get some 4-on-4 action over there, but nothing really comes from it. Eventually, it's a Connor Garland breakaway who gets stoned by John Gibson. Now, this one was a pretty easy read, if I do say so myself. I'm no John Garrett out there, so I'm probably not the best goaltending analyst out there, but Connor Garland had to really speed up to skate away from the back-checking Anaheim Duck, which really gave Gibson a good frame of mind as to where Garland was going to go with the shot. Garland was going so fast, and the angle he was at was so limiting that he had no option but to go backhand. He could not have cut across forehand because he really just would have ran into Gibson had he done that. So Gibson anticipates properly. I don't even know if the shot was going to go in the net, but Gibson makes the save anyway. We then have ourselves that play get called down for hand passes. The Canucks, though, even though they have themselves a few opportunities, still give up some Anaheim chances of their own. It's Vinny Lettieri on a line with Troy Terry and Ryan Getzlav that really goes out there and gives the Canucks some problems. There were some really good opportunities towards the third quarter-ish of this period, and it was just kind of miraculous that Demko was out there making the saves that he did. There was one on the rush where I thought the puck went in, 5-hole, but nah. Demko got his pad down, he made the save properly, he covered it up. Very, very nice stuff from him. The period ends off with a 2-on-1 from Garland and Pettersson, and Gibson makes another gosh darn save, man. This is why the deserve-to-win-o-meter was so highly favored in Vancouver's favor, because they were getting a lot of opportunities like that. The third period starts, and it's finally broken, though, as Quinn Hughes does a little bit of a give and go with JT Miller. He enters the zone, pinches right in, sends a cross crease to Tanner Pearson. He shoots it, he scores it. Gibson isn't fast enough to get across and make the stop. It is 1-1, a minute 21 into the third period. Give it a few minutes, and Josh Manson goes to the box on a scary tripping penalty on Podkolzin, who is flying by the wing. Unfortunately, just a light little tap by Josh Manson on the skate is enough to send Podkolzin just going into the boards at full speed. Good thing he's able to brace himself and stay upright. Unlike Cam Fowler, who actually had a similar scary moment earlier on in the game, he left after a significant portion because he went into the boards shoulder first, so we're wishing for a speedy recovery for Cam Fowler too. The power play doesn't really get too much done, but the second unit, I will say, does look pretty good. A Brad Hunt slapper ends up hitting John Gibson in the jewels, I guess you could say, and it makes him very uncomfortable for a little bit. Podkolzin had himself a really good start of a play where he sends a cross pass to Petey, who sends another one across to Connor Garland, who gets a one-on-one rush with Gibson, but Gibson makes the save again. Gibson robs Garland like on 2 one-on-one sort of breakaway opportunities, and he does that all night long. Very frustrating to watch as a Canucks fan, and this is kind of where, in the game, I'm kind of feeling, this is a game the Canucks are going to lose, right? They have gotten so many chances, so many good saves by Gibson. All it takes is one bad bounce for Vancouver, and this is a 2-1 Anaheim win in regulation. And right after I start thinking that, Oliver Ekman-Larsson pinches into the play, he takes out a guy on the legs, and he goes to the box. It's a 2-minute double minor in the last, however many minutes that was in the third period over here. The last 8 minutes. Very, very, very frustrating stuff. Tyler Myers and Luke Shen are out there the entire PK, and they kill it off. The Ducks get so many chances. And this is kind of where you look at the shots. Okay, the team was down the entire time in shots up to this point, but make no mistake, this was because a lot of their grade A chances were just not hitting the net, or they were getting blocked. They were getting chances, they just were not showing up on the score sheet when you only look at shots on goal. You then have yourselves even more Gibson stops. Chiasson goes over to Elias Pettersson. That one was stopped. Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Höglander had a great rush where OEL spinning around guys and setting up Hoggy. This one was also stopped twice. Pettersson got robbed by Gibson's shoulder after Gibson lost a puck battle to Garland down low. It was a Gibson showdown, followed up by a few grade A chances by the Ducks, where Ryan Getzlaf throws one through the crease and it just hits off of Pettersson, I believe. At the end of the period, though, it's Bo Horvat who gets another on-the-rush chance, gets absolutely robbed by Gibson. He got robbed 3 times, not necessarily by Gibson in all 3 times, but by fate. The first one, he doesn't pull the trigger properly. The second one, he doesn't pull the trigger properly. The third one, he gets stoned by Gibson. It's tied, it's overtime, we end off the third period thinking, okay, the Vancouver Canucks are now 1 point within 500. They just need to get a goal, and they will be there. And guess what happens to kick off overtime? Tyler Myers double clutches in the neutral zone. He trips over his own legs. It's a 3-on-1 for the Anaheim Ducks, and the puck goes right through the slot. Nobody's able to get a handle on it. The Vancouver Canucks break it away. JT Miller with the steal. He sends a pass long up forward. This is like saucing it to yourself in NHL 22. This one ends up in the Anaheim zone before Miller makes contact again. Gibson does not go out to play it. Miller in, he shoots, he scores. It's 2-1 Vancouver at the end of what was a John Gibson save fest. Now, don't get me wrong, Thatcher Demko had some really good quality chances that he stopped as well, but John Gibson was the busier goaltender here. John Gibson made the better saves because Vancouver had better chances here. John Gibson has been an absolute legend every time he has suited up against the Vancouver Canucks. And he gets beat here by JT Miller in overtime, unassisted. Miller with a goal and an assist. He gets himself the win, and Vancouver is up 7-0-0 under Bruce Boudreau, which is tied for the longest win streak ever by a brand new coach on a new NHL team. Talk to me in the comments. What do you think about tonight's game and the Vancouver Canucks taking things out in overtime against Anaheim? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.